Hi everyone and welcome back to So Blessed by Jess. And in today's episode, we're making this block right here. Let me pull this one down. So this block can be found in the Quilters box book. I'm not quite sure which box it is. So it's there if you have one of those Quilters boxes that I've been using in the last video, or the last series that I made with the patriotic quilt. But this was the block that Wendy Shepard and Pat Sloan used because they made a reproduction of this Harrisburg quilt when they were helping with a fundraiser for I'm going to butcher this one, the Quilt Museum of Harrisburg in Virginia. There you go. So I do not have the pattern, never had the pattern. I just knew that my block needed to be 12 inches finished. So that means 12 and a half inches finished. Have I looked it up in the Quilt Builder's block? Nope. But I know it's there because I've seen it when I was going over it. Because my mom and I are planning on doing a Christmas quilt with the blocks, and she has some, and then I saw it and I'm like, oh, there she is. I do have a bunch of these little blocks is already sitting just waiting for their little triangles, and we'll get there. I've already made this quilt once for my mom. It came out very large. It is a good queen size quilt. So what I want to do is I want to make the block with you today, and then I'll show you what the sashing looks like. And then I do not use the same border as the Harrisburg quilt does, the original one. I have a little different border that I use. You're going to see me using reproduction fabrics. Reproduction fabrics are one of my favorite types of fabrics to use. I really like the earth tone look, just the calming of them. Now, I'll use a Tula and a Juicy Juice and other fabrics that are very vibrant, and Cafe too. And that is, I don't discriminate against any fabric. But I tend to, when it's my own house, I'm like a farmer's girl. So I grew up in the country, love the country. I just happen to be, that's just my style, and that's how I roll. So I just tend to have these. This is my color scheme in my house. So anywho, let me go ahead, turn you around. I'll show you the blocks that I'm working with. I cut them oversized, and we'll have to cut them down. I'm using the 99 today. I'm so excited to use her. So she's ready. Hopefully I don't run out of bobbin. We're going to play bobbin chicken with her. Haven't looked, but if need be, we are already set and ready to go with another spool. And yeah, this is amazing. So let me go ahead, turn you around, give you the cutting instructions because I'm not following a pattern, so I'll give you the cutting instructions, and we'll go ahead and start placing it together. All right, so let's talk about the fabrics that I'm going to be using today. My center fabric is going to be, this right here, okay, from Right as Rain. Then we are going to put these triangles, and these triangles are just 5-inch charm squares that are just cut on a diagonal. Okay, these are Henry glass, and then I'm going to trim that down, and I'll show you how to do that. After I finish putting this square on, I'm going to come back with more Kim Deal fabric right from Right as Rain. I'm going to do another square around that. And this square is also, or this fabric is also a 5-inch square that's cut in half. So if you have charm packs, this is a great charm pack quilt. because this is a 4.5-inch center. And then, I mean, there is going to be waste with it, but it's just simpler for me to use trim pegs. And I go and use this. The outside, the, what you see here, these half square triangles are going to be this fabric right here. So it's a very scrappy look. I'm all about the scraps. And then all I need to do is, and these are, let's see, these are 3-inch squares. So we need 6 of background and 6 of your accent color. And they're all 3-inch squares. I've already drawn the line on the back of them so that I can go ahead and make my half square triangles. When I trim them up, we'll talk about that again, 2.5 inches. And then there is this rectangle that's right here, that's in between, and that's a 4.5 by 2.5 inch rectangle. Okay, so let's go ahead and start working. So one thing is, you don't have to line these up. Like, there's some videos where I'll fold this in half, I'll find the center on this guy, but you can eyeball this right now because it's oversized and we're going to be trimming it down. But you can see what's oversized and what's not. All right, let me try to remain out of the frame. That would be amazing. Okay. And let's thread her up. I forgot I de-threaded her. All right, now we can sew. So right here, you'll see on my machine, I have a 1/4-inch seam guide. I don't have the best 1/4-inch when it comes to, but there it is. I'm gonna roll it back. We're gonna press it. So yeah, I'm gonna need help. We're gonna turn it around 180. We're gonna kind of center this up, do it again. Why are we de-threading? What am I doing wrong? Now this would be a really good project that you're chain stitching the whole time. Have leaders and enders. All right. Ooh, you guys, we are having technical difficulties today. It is okay. We are working on it. We are doing this thing. We're gonna love it. All right, so after we finish the 2 sides, I'm just gonna go ahead and trim them up. I'm gonna use the square itself. So this is all the waist that I have at the moment. We're gonna do that on both sides. All right. After we have our block trimmed like this, we are gonna take the other 2 triangles and we're gonna sew them on. All right, I'm gonna iron this open. I love this mini iron. You can get it at Walmart, you can get it at Amazon. It's a fun little one. Okay. I also, when I'm making these, I use my clappers a lot just to keep my seams as flat as possible. So what the clappers do is they take the residual heat, the heat that's coming out of the fabric, and bring it into the wood blocks themselves and just create a flatter block for you. now that we have our square complete, we're going to be trimming this down. Now, like I said, this is way oversized. Okay. What we're going to do is I'm going to take this 1/4 inch line, this dotted line right here, and I am going to put it, just like when we do flying geese, right outside the tip. Then I'm going to take another line that I have and line up the center. And it just happens to be the 3.5 inch line on this block. Okay. So this 1/4 inch line is parallel to the side. It's captured this point, so I won't lose it. And then this 3 inch line, or 3.5 inch line, depending on what side of the Creative Prudes ruler I'm on, is also lined up on the center. Oh, that's amazing how that works once in a while, right? And I cut. All right, I'm going to turn it 180 degrees. And a spinning mat is amazing for this, by the way. I have, mine's right here. I'm using it, but, oh, I had it on this side. I'm just going to turn it as I go. All right. So now as I cut, I'm just going to line up this bottom line. I'm going to line up this vertical line that I've caught before. So we have lots, oops. We have lots of lines to catch. Okay. That can help us square this up. All right, gonna keep squaring it up. And this happens to be, oh, what is this? Okay, this is a, oh, we're gonna do some math. We're gonna be mathing some math right now. Okay. We are now at a 6 inch square. There we go. You guys, we made a 6 inch square. That's how much, you know, directions. Okay, we have the center. We're gonna do the same thing and we're gonna add on this next border. Okay, that's where we are at the moment. So I've done all 4 sides. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna make sure that from that cream point to the outside, okay, from this cream point to the outside is only a 1/4 inch. I don't want it to be any larger than that. I'm going to pause and go grab another ruler. All right. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to take my ruler. I am going to measure a 1/4 inch from here, this point, to the edge, and there's not going to be a lot to cut off. I'm also going to take my horizontal lines and I'm going to line it up with one of the sides so that I know that I'm cutting accurately. Okay. Go. And there's not going to be a lot to trim off of these. This one only has a little guy. I mean, that's not really a lot to trim off. These 5 inch squares are very, they're accurate when it comes. All right, and after trimming, and if I line it up, we now have an 8 inch square. Okay, we are getting there. So all we have is that border left to go. Okay, now to create the border, I've started doing it. You can see it here. I was using my as leaders and enders when I was creating this block. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take a 3 inch accent piece and a background. Now all my backgrounds I'm using is Henry Glass, and this is Butter Churn collection that I'm using, and I'll have that in the description below. I've drawn a 1/4 inch down the middle of it. I'm gonna remove my seam guide, or my 1/4 inch seam guide, so I can be more accurate. And then we're just gonna create half square triangles from this. So we're just gonna chain stitch them one right after the other. I'm really enjoying sewing on this machine. Will she get a name? Nope. I know you probably think it's weird. I name everything else on everyone else's platforms. And I named my first machine the Olivia, which I'm going to get out today. I'm going to finish cleaning her. But oh, she runs beautiful. I really enjoy listening to older machines. All right, now I can use another leader ender. Oh, where is it? Where are you? There we go. Oof. Okay. All right. So now what we are going to do, we're going to cut right down this diagonal. And now we have 2 half square triangles. We are going to press to the dark side. So again, I use my clamps to keep it as flat as possible, or my clappers, I should say. And I don't press around. I kind of just lay it on the machine or on the, and go. All right. Once this is cooled down, I'm going to take my 2.5 inch mark. I'm going to line up at the top corner. I'm going to line my diagonal. I know it's hard for you to see. And then we're just going to start squaring this stuff up. Right. I don't take a lot off the first one. I kind of just square it up. I rotate it 180 degrees. Now I line everything up on the 2.5 inch mark, top and bottom. Make sure my 45-degree angle is lined up. Open up my rotary cutter. Close my rotary cutter. And we are going to make 12 of these. All right, so we have all of our 12 2.5 inch half square triangles. And then we need 4 2.5 by 4.5 inch rectangles. And again, I'm using any cream color for my background. Now there's going to be, they're all made up the same way. You just need 2 of each block. Okay, so 1 block, we'll set them both up right here. All right, now we just got to make sure they're all facing the same way. So we are going to make sure that the triangles are facing in. Okay, so I'm going to make 2 of these, and then I'm going to make 2 of these. Okay. So we're going to make 2 of this unit, 2 of this unit, 1/4 inch seams. When I finish with that, we'll come back and put our borders on. All right, let's go ahead and set up our block. All right, so these are going to go on the top and the bottom, and they're going to be facing in. All right. Let's see, where's the other smaller one? Right here. Okay, so we're going to make that, and then we're going to come back, making sure that our triangles are facing in and our background's facing out. And 1/4 inch seam, and our block is done. I'm going to go sew this together and show you the finished product. And our block is complete. Now, are my 1/4 inch seams perfect? No, I am still working on mastering, or not mastering, but just not being a novice when it comes to the 1/4 inch seams on this guy. Even though I have this 1/4 inch seam like guide that I set up on my machine, I'm still not doing very well, and that's okay. That's okay. Am I gonna probably finish these blocks on this machine? Probably not. Like I said, I need to work on it, like see how that's off. Like I'm gonna tear out a little bit and rework it, or I can leave it as is and always know that this one block was made from this 99. So I hope to come back and finish it someday. But thank you so much for following along. Thank you for, you guys, it's early in the morning. I'm still on my first cup of coffee. So it's 9 o'clock right now. So yeah, you guys got to see my morning brain. It can be quite interesting, but I'm trying to change my sleep schedule. You guys, school starts in 2 weeks. So anywho, thank you so much for coming along. Thank you so much for hanging out. My next block that is coming out will be my Moda blockhead block tomorrow morning. So I am looking forward to watching a video on that very shortly and picking out my fabric. Oh, will it be scrappiness is happiness? Scrappiness is always happiness, but we'll see. All right, and until the next video short, I will see you later. Bye.